This is Idaho News 6. Good morning, Idaho.
Welcome to Good Morning Idaho on your Wednesday morning. I'm Kristen Scovira.
And I'm Matt Sizemore. Thanks for joining us here on Channel 6, Roku, or wherever you might be streaming us. Let's head back to Geneva Zoltec for a check of today's weather. And Geneva, I guess I don't have much other than I know it's not kite weather today.
I wouldn't say so, no.
Love kite weather.
You do? That's
No.
good.
When's the last time you flew
know.
a kite?
It's been a while.
We should,
Too long.
get some kites for
We
the
should.
team over here.
Aw.
ABC 6. All right, so temperatures today are going to be great, just like they were yesterday, starting out with a pretty nice sunset. You can see the sunrise. What time of day is it? It's 6 a.m. So sun's coming out, and it's going to be pretty nice today. My remote is frozen. So anyway, temperatures are going to be great today. They're going to get up into the 70s. Now overnight, we will have some scattered showers in central Idaho, and that'll be ahead of a cold front that's pushing into the region. It's going to drop temperatures significantly tomorrow. We're going to see a high of 57 degrees, but today it's going to be beautiful and we will have sunshine.
Well remembered.
Geneva, thank you. Idahoans, they flocked to the polls for primary election day, and for many races, the votes are in. So this morning, we're going to be highlighting key statewide races throughout the show.
That's right, and it's worth noting this is a primary election, meaning voters are choosing which candidates will represent their parties in the general election. That's in November. In a deep red state like Idaho, the primaries take on an outsized role because the winner of the GOP primary often goes on to win in November. So right now, our political reporter Anna Zalian joins us in studio to take a closer look at Idaho's top races. Anna, do we know the results of most of the races at this point?
It's really a mix at this point. Some races have been called. Other races, we're still getting results in. One of the races that has been called is the race for governor. This was called around 10:30 last night. Governor Brad Little will be on the general election ballot, beating out the current Lieutenant Governor Janice McGeehan. Now, this is an interesting situation, one we haven't seen for decades in Idaho, and the tension between these two often sparked national headlines over the last year. And this circumstance, it's unusual. We haven't seen this in decades. But again, Brad Little, has 55% of the vote against Janice McGeehan with 30% of the vote. He represents the establishment wing of the Republican Party, whereas McGeehan represents more the far right wing, and she earned the endorsement of former President Donald Trump. And candidates in some other states, it's been a mix, whether or not they won their primary. But of course, here in Idaho, that endorsement was just not enough to get Janice McGeehan that win in this primary. Now, it was the first race that was officially called last night just before 10:30. And again, Brad Little winning this race with 55% of the vote. And Ardon Nelson, he was at the Republican Watch Party last night. He talked with Governor Little after the race was called.
More tax relief, more investments in education. What do we do to cope with the incredible growth we got in this valley? But the nice thing about it, we are in incredibly sound fiscal footing to do all of those things.
Now, on the Democratic side, one of the only contested races in the Democratic primary was for governor, though voters, they only saw one name on the ballot. Sandpoint Mayor Shelby Rongstad didn't make the filing deadline because he was still registered as a Republican. So he launched a write-in campaign to challenge Stephen Hite. Hite is an educator from Marsing, hoping to jumpstart his political career with a trip to the state's top office. But because of this write-in situation, we don't expect to see accurate results just quite yet during this newscast. Those votes need to be reviewed by hand in the coming days. Now, Lieutenant Governor is another race we're watching because Janice McGeehan, her decision to challenge Brad Little, that opens up that office. And two top Republicans, well-known lawmakers in our state, are vying to replace her. Scott Bedke is the current Speaker of the House, and Priscilla Giddings is a representative in the Idaho House of Representatives. Now, the AP has not officially called this race yet, but at last check, Scott Bedke was ahead with 52% of the vote, so 10 percentage points higher than Priscilla Giddings, with about 88% of the vote counted. Now, another interesting race that we're watching is for Attorney General. The incumbent Attorney General Lawrence Wasden, he's been in the office for the last 2 decades. He's hoping to hang on to his seat with a challenge from lawyer and former Idaho Congressman Raul Labrador and another lawyer, Art McComber. Now, right now, it's looking like the former congressman will be on the general election ballot for this office. At last check, he was leading with 51% of the vote, a sizable lead over Lawrence Wasden with 39% of the vote, and that's with about 90% of the votes counted. Now, you can find more information about all of the big local and state races on our website. You can get out your phone, open that camera app, scan the QR code there. That will take you to the right place on our website where you can get the latest information and results on all of the local and state races.
All right, great work, Anna. Thanks so much for that. It's not just Idaho. It was another election night and, of course, several races that are too close to call all across America.
That's right. Here's ABC's Wen with results from the midterm primary election in other states.
This morning, the Republican Senate primary in Pennsylvania is likely headed to a recount, with the leading candidates separated by fewer than 1,000 votes overnight.
Thank you, thank you.
TV personality Dr. Mehmet Oz addressed supporters just before midnight.
When all the votes are tallied, I am confident we will win.
Minutes earlier, Dave McCormick sounded confident about his slim lead.
We can see victory ahead, and it's all because of you.
The primary winner will face John Fetterman, Pennsylvania's lieutenant governor, who secured the Democratic nomination for Senate last night despite undergoing a heart procedure just hours earlier. Fetterman's campaign announcing that doctors implanted a pacemaker and defibrillator Tuesday following Fetterman's stroke last week.
He can and should, completely recover from this. But what it does disclose is that his heart disease appears to be more substantial than previously disclosed.
Overnight, Fetterman tweeted his thanks. Voters in 5 states headed to the polls as a new poll revealed President Biden with only a 40% approval rating. The same poll showed 65% of Americans are concerned about how things are going in the U.S., with 21% saying they're scared. In North Carolina, Congressman Ted Budd won the Republican Senate primary after being endorsed by former President Trump. But the Trump-backed candidate in North Carolina's House primary, Madison Cawthorn, lost his bid for re-election.
And a mixed bag for former President Donald Trump, who's endorsed in an unprecedented number of races. Over in North Carolina, he got his choice for Senate in Ted Budd. But in one of the big surprises of the season so far, Congressman Madison Cawthorn going down in his primary.
Cawthorn faced criticism from both sides of the aisle after several scandals.
Wen, ABC News, Washington.
6:07 is the time. Still to come here on Good Morning Idaho. If you're planning a trip to Hawaii, learn why you should make your plans earlier than usual. That's in today's news you can use.
And coming up a little later on in the show, we want to share your answers to GMI Wants to Know. Today, we want to know, is there anything you wished would come back into fashion? You can head over to our Facebook page, Idaho News 6, and weigh in there. We might feature your answer live on air.
Now, the Idaho News 6 traffic report.
Well, it is about 10 minutes after 6 a.m. We're starting to see traffic pick up. I-84 at 5 Mile. Cars are definitely starting to hit the roadway, and at Orchard. Maple Grove looks to be pretty calm at this point. Drive times are still pretty good. We've got 22 minutes from Nampa to downtown Boise, and westbound and eastbound. So that is all good. And then Middleton to downtown Boise, that's about 33 minutes.
After yesterday's primary elections, we know which candidates will be on the ballot in the November general election, at least in some races. Several races have been called, but in many races, results are still coming in. One of these races is for Superintendent of Public Instruction. This race hasn't always been the race to watch, but the pandemic really changed that when shutdowns, school choice, and critical race theory became major topics for lawmakers. The incumbent is Sherry Ybarra. She's seeking a third term, but not without challengers. Former State Board of Education President Debbie Critchfield and former lawmaker Brandon Durst are up against her. Now, current results, Debbie Critchfield is in the lead right now, but again, results are still coming in. Another race we're watching is for Secretary of State. This role has been in the spotlight recently amid conversations about election security and a renewed awareness of the position, their vote on the land board. Now, this is the board that makes decisions about Idaho's endowment land, which is land given to Idaho at statehood to make money for Idaho's public schools. So with the incumbent Lawrence Denny retiring, 2 state lawmakers and the Ada County clerk are running to replace him. Phil McGrain is currently in the lead with 43% of the vote. Dorothy Moon and Mary Souza, those are the 2 lawmakers. Their campaigns centered around election integrity concerns and election-related bills they'd introduced in the legislature, whereas McGrain, who is in the lead right now, pointed to his experience running elections in Ada County. Now, because of statewide redistricting, there are also several races for a state house or state senate seat where 2 incumbents are running against each other for just that 1 spot on the November general election ballot. This is the case in District 9 for the Senate seat, where current Senators Abby Lee and Jim Rice are up against each other. Now, right now, Abby Lee is in the lead with 35% of the votes, and Jim Rice is in third. Jordan Marquez is actually above him with 30% of the vote. Now, District 9, this includes part of Canyon County, Washington County, and Payette County. And right now, Abby Lee is in the lead. It looks like she is on several Senate committees and says that if she is reelected, her focus will be on education, lowering property taxes, and the grocery tax. Now, you can find more information about these races and all of the races that were on the primary ballot yesterday on our website. You can scan that QR code there and that'll take you to the right spot to get all of the latest information and results.
Anna, thanks so much. Okay, taking a look at some of your top headlines this morning. A report released today by Human Rights Watch alleges dozens of crimes against civilians in Ukraine. The group says those suspected crimes include executions, kidnappings, and torture. Human Rights Watch say they've interviewed 65 people in its report that included survivors and families of victims. Today, the House of Representatives, they're set to vote on the Access to Formula Act. The bill would give participants in the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for women, infants, and children the chance to use vouchers on any formula brand. It would ensure that they have access to needed baby formula during this nationwide shortage that we're seeing now. Oklahoma Congressman Mark Wayne Mullen will introduce a bill today to expunge former President Donald Trump's second impeachment. The bill takes issue with the process of the impeachment and the lack of hearings. Mullen also tried to pass a bill to expunge the former president's first impeachment, but he failed. All right, on your Wednesday morning, we have some news that you can use. Mercedes is recalling nearly 300,000 SUVs due to a potential problem causing the power brakes to fail.
That's an enormous problem. The recall covers 2006 through 2012 models of the ML, GL, and R-Class SUVs. The company wants owners to stop driving the vehicles until the potential problem is fixed. Mercedes will ask owners to go to a dealer for an inspection, and Mercedes will tow vehicles to the dealer for free. There's no charge for the work. That covering 2006 through 2012. You
That's
think they'd know by?
Yeah, by
that was
now.
a while.
Wow, how many times, did they have to hear about that?
Yeah.
That'd be scary. What is it, the brakes?
Yeah, the power brakes.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, so if you definitely take that in right away. Call a tow truck.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't take it yourself.
Don't drive.
Yeah, and if you're planning on a trip to Hawaii, there's a change to one of their landmark trails. Despite a lot of advance notice, visitors to Honolulu's Diamond Head State Monument were surprised to find out there are now reservations to the trail. Reservations are required for all out-of-state visitors, so if you're a tourist preparing a trip to Oahu, you're encouraged to plan ahead. Out-of-state residents must register at least 2 weeks in advance and pay $5 per person and $10 to the park by credit card only. So that's a good tip to know, especially if you get there, you know all about this trail, and suddenly,
It is true, though, a lot of these national parks, especially what we saw with a lot of, the COVID travelers and stuff,
yeah.
I mean, they were just inundated by so many. I mean, my sister said she went to Zion. I mean, just to get into the park were just so many people. Yeah. And you're going to every, overlook or place that you want to take a picture, and there's just so many people. Yeah. So I could see this actually being a good thing, because otherwise you're like, cool, I'm out in the forest. No, I'm not. There's tons of people.
Definitely a good thing as long as you know about it ahead of time.
That's true.
Yeah.
Otherwise, super disappointing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, up next in your extended forecast, we'll talk about the nice weather today and how that might shift tomorrow. Welcome back. I'm Geneva Zoltek here with a look at your full extended forecast. Now, temperatures nationwide today are pretty warm. We've got almost record heat in Texas and in the south, but up in our corner of the woods, we're not seeing things as hot. We are seeing some warmth though. 77 degrees in Boise, 78 in Twin Falls is how hot we're going to get today. 56 up there in McCall, so a little cooler up there than we were yesterday. That's going to shift though tomorrow. Check out what we have brewing up here in the northwest corner. This system is going to shift down to our neck of the woods, bringing us some cooler temperatures starting tomorrow. And overnight tonight, we will see some precipitation in central Idaho, about a 30 to 40% chance up there near Stanley and McCall starting around this evening, around 8 p.m. That won't really hit southern Idaho at all. It's going to really dissipate and head out of our way. But tomorrow on Thursday, looking ahead, just make sure you have your rain jacket packed in the car and maybe a windbreaker because it's going to be windy. Now, we do have a high wind watch in effect for tomorrow. We're going to expect winds 25 to 40 miles per hour. And remember, there could be impacts to nearby trees with loose branches, power lines, or loose outdoor furniture. But we've been talking about flying a kite this morning, and I think tomorrow would be a better day than today. We're going to have wind speeds picking up to around 24 miles per hour in Mountain Home, 20 miles per hour in Boise tomorrow. But let's get back to today, and I hope everyone can enjoy the warmth that we're going to see today, because we're going to continue to see that 70-degree weather for the rest of the week. Other than tomorrow, 79 degrees in Kuna today. West Central Mountains, we're again going to be seeing that heat, 70 degrees will be our high up there. In Long Valley, again, they're going to expect some showers this afternoon. Very scattered, though, nothing too significant with this low pressure system. And Stanley is also going to be seeing that precipitation but once we get down to the valleys, we're not really seeing that rain as frequently. 79 degrees today in Twin Falls, so it's going to be really close to 80 degrees in Magic Valley, which is great news for those of you that like the heat. Now, for the rest of the week, we will see a shift tomorrow. We're going to see some wind above 20 miles per hour in the Treasure Valley. It's not going to be as significant as it will be east of the Magic Valley, but it's going to significantly drop our temperatures with that low pressure system. After that, though, we will see temperatures warm back up again, 69 degrees on Saturday and 70 on Sunday for your upcoming weekend.
Thanks so much. 6:21 on your Wednesday. After the break, a man is on a nationwide bike tour. He's raising awareness for a very important cause. When he plans to stop here in Idaho, we have that in today's Trendy News coming up next.
And let us help you celebrate your birthday. Send us a picture to our email listed right there on your screen. It's gmi@kivitv.com. By the way, we skipped ahead just a little bit, and we're going to mention your name right here on air during our 6 a.m. shows every weekday. GMI wants to celebrate your special day in style, and we want to show you the lunch menus, which we're doing right now. There you go.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so.
Hi there, welcome back. Here is a live look at the Village at Meridian, courtesy of our Ronco Motors Hyundai Tower Cam. That's a beautiful sunrise going on right there. Well done, sunrise.
I can't help it. That's its job.
It is its job, and it does a good job.
This is our job. We're talking about trendy news right now. Okay, it was a special welcome home for an Illinois teacher this week.
Yeah, this is very sweet. Students and staff in Granite City welcome Master Sergeant Robert Bragg home from a recent deployment overseas. Bragg serves in the Air Force Reserves, but he's also a 6th grade teacher. He's been in Middle Eastern countries for the past month to help with training, testing, and teaching. Bragg says while it was a great experience, it was even better to bring back life lessons for his students. He's also happy to be back, of course, with his wife and 2 children.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Look at the entire school out there. How sweet. Just his smile. He's trying to just play it cool.
I was going to say, good for him that he's like, don't cry.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's so sweet. Waving the flags. What a cool scene.
I just love those homecomings.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you see them in the airport sometimes. It's like, I can't. The signs. You're just like, ah.
Reunited with the kids who are surprised. Or the dogs.
Yeah. The dogs too.
I just lose it
and they
every
like
time.
wag their whole bodies because
Yeah.
they're so excited. Oh, I can't. Okay, how about this one? A man from New York is giving blood to the entire nation, literally.
What?
Yeah, so Bob Barnes, he's on a bike tour across the country and he intends to donate blood or platelets in all 50 states. So his year-long mission, it took him to Madison, Wisconsin on Monday. It is the 41st capital city on his so-called Great American Triple Switchback Tour, the Switchback Tour, I guess. So the purpose is to raise awareness about the importance of blood and platelet donation. We talked about that on the show a couple weeks ago, platelets and how important it is. Okay, Barnes says he's biked more than 12,000 miles so far. By Friday, he should be in Minnesota, and then it's on his way, here, and through Montana as well. So if you
he's
see
going
him,
Capitals,
I was going to say we might see him for his final donation. He's actually going to fly to Hawaii. I hope he probably should make sure he can get to that trail.
Yeah.
ahead of
I wonder
time,
if he's going to be riding his bike to Alaska, all throughout Canada as well.
Yeah, I guess anything that. Yeah, I mean, you feel he has to take a plane to Hawaii, but I guess technically he could make it up there.
Technically.
He
could.
Whew.
He might. I mean, that's
Did he say
a bit of a
it? He didn't say all states, right? Didn't he say?
I think he did say all 50.
50?
Yeah, all 50 states,
okay. I was
all
just
the
checking.
capitals.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad he's not biking to Hawaii, as mentioned. Yeah, probably fly that one. No paddle boat.
Unbelievable.
Or anything like that. That'd be wow.
Good
Very
for him,
cool,
though.
And I'm glad he's not like the first line said, donating to everyone in the nation or whatever that's.
Yeah,
like,
no.
'cause he wouldn't be doing very well right now.
I wonder what his blood type is. Is he universal?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question.
I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully he has one of those rare ones
That's
that
what I'm thinking.
people are always looking for.
Isn't it O that everyone wants?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. All right. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I can't.
All right, it's 6:27 now. Coming up in our second half hour, the polls, they are closed. The votes are in. We do have the latest election results from Idaho's top primary races. Stay with us.
This is Idaho News 6. Good Morning, Idaho. With Kristen Scovera, Matt Sizemore, and Frankie Catafias.
Yes, it is. Good morning. Welcome back to Good Morning, Idaho. It is Wednesday. I'm Matt Sizemore.
And I'm Kristen Scovera. Thanks so much for joining us on Channel 6, Apple TV, wherever you might be streaming us this morning. We were talking with Geneva a little bit about summertime. It's not quite summer, though.
Yeah.
It just feels like it sometimes.
Working on it.
This week is like ideal summertime weather, I think. You know, we've got some variability, but not as much of that roller coaster that we've been experiencing this spring. We'll have pretty consistent starting today and changing a little bit tomorrow, but after that, we're going to continue to see pretty good weather. 47 degrees right now in Boise around 6:30 a.m. We're seeing about a 1 degree change from yesterday, but it actually is going to get warmer today than it was yesterday. By noon, we'll hit the mid 60s. After that, we'll continue to warm up into the 70s. So overall, a very nice day. Now, what's coming tomorrow is a shift in temperatures, some precipitation, cloud cover, and even some wind, but it's really going to last about one day. After that, we're going to continue to see some pretty nice weather, like I said. Now, temperatures high tomorrow, 54 degrees, so that's quite the change. But again, after that, we will see that warm up until to the weekend, which I'm looking forward to more sunshine and warmth. 70 degrees will be our high on Sunday, 69 on Saturday. Then after that, we'll continue to see rising temperatures into the 70s.
Geneva, thanks so much. Okay, Idahoans flock to the polls for primary election day. For many races, the votes, they are in. And this morning, we're going to be highlighting some key statewide races throughout our show.
Yep, and it is worth noting that this is the primary election, meaning voters are choosing which candidates will represent their parties in the general election, which is in November. Now, in a deep red state like Idaho, the primaries take on an outsized role because the winner of the GOP primary usually goes on to win in November. So right now, our political reporter, Anna Zalian, joins us in studio to take a closer look at Idaho's top races. And Anna, how are we looking now at the results of most of those races at this point?
Yeah, we're seeing more results coming in, more and more counties reporting to the Secretary of State's office. And there are some races that have been called. One of them is that race for governor. It is projected that the current governor, Brad Little, will keep his spot on the general election ballot for the Republican Party. Now, this is a unique situation where his lieutenant governor was actually running against him, Lieutenant Governor Janice McGeehan. And you see here, Brad Little, he is projected to have won this race with 55% of the vote, a pretty sizable lead over McGeehan. And again, this is a unique situation, and the tension between them, it often sparked national headlines over the last year. And this is a circumstance we haven't seen in decades in Idaho, where a lieutenant governor is running against the current governor for that governor seat. Now, Little, he represents more the establishment wing of his party, and McGeehan represents more the far right of the party. She even earned an endorsement from former President Donald Trump, but in some other states, that endorsement has correlated with that candidate winning their primary, not in every state, but in some of them. And obviously that was not the case here in Idaho. And the Associated Press called this race in Brad Little's favor back at around 10:30 last night. Again, he wins with about 55% of the vote. And our Don Nelson, he was at the Republican Watch Party last night. He was able to speak with Governor Little after the race was called about if he is reelected in November, what his top priorities would be over the next couple of years.
More tax relief, more investments in education. What do we do to cope with the incredible growth we got in this valley? But the nice thing about it, we are in incredibly sound fiscal footing to do all of those things.
On the Democratic side, this is one of the only contested races in the Democratic primary, though voters, they only saw one name on the ballot because Sandpoint Mayor Shelby Rungstad, he didn't make the filing deadline because he was still registered as a Republican. So he launched a write-in campaign to challenge Stephen Hite. Hite is an educator from Marsing, hoping to jumpstart his political career with a trip to the state's top office. But because of this write-in situation, we don't expect to see accurate results just yet because these votes need to be reviewed by hand in the coming days. Now, like I said, Janice McGeehan running for governor, that opens up her spot as lieutenant governor. So two well-known lawmakers in Idaho, Scott Bedke and Priscilla Giddings, they are some of the candidates hoping to replace McGeehan. Scott Bedke is the current Speaker of the House here in Idaho, and Priscilla Giddings is a state representative. The Associated Press has not officially called this race yet, but you can see here Scott Bedke has a pretty sizable lead over Priscilla Giddings with about 88% of the votes coming in. Scott Bedke with 52%, a whole 10 percentage points above Priscilla Giddings. Now, one other race that I want to draw your attention to right now is Attorney General. Now, this was a close race at points overnight, but Raul Labrador has gotten a sizable lead over the incumbent Lawrence Wasden, who's been in this office for the last 20 years. Raul Labrador is a lawyer and a former congressman for Idaho, and it's looking like he will be on the general election ballot with that 51% of the vote over Lawrence Wasden's 39%, with about 90% of the votes counted. The Associated Press is reporting, these are the results so far, and you can see results for more of the races that were on the primary ballot yesterday on our website, idahonews6.com. You'll get the latest information there. You can scan the QR code on the screen with your camera app on your phone, and that'll take you right to the right place on our website.
Now, the Idaho News 6 Traffic Report, brought to you by Larry Miller.
Well, let's take a look at our traffic cam network. Right now, we've got a little bit more traffic stacking up on 5 Mile intersection on I-84 and the Orchard intersection. Maple Grove is starting to see that impact rather than it was a couple minutes ago when I last checked. You can really see those cars start to build up. Now, the drive is still pretty significantly normal, 22 minutes from Nampa to downtown Boise. Vice versa, we're just counting about a minute extra of time. Now, from Middleton to downtown, of course, eastbound, that is going to take a bit longer. 36 minutes is what I'm tracking right now for your drive time from Middleton.
Geneva, thanks very much. 6:37 is the time. Still to come here on Good Morning Idaho. Learn why Nampa will be filled with family fun tomorrow. That's on our Things to Do segment coming up next.
The Allergy Report, brought to you by Boise Valley Asthma and Allergy.
Well, not great news to report on our allergy front today. We're seeing extreme levels at 321. That's well above our high mark, so that little mark is wrong. We are in the extreme. category right now. We've got pine is our most significant pollen out there, cottonwood, as well as maple and grass. So definitely keep those anti-allergy medications on deck for today.
All right, thanks, Geneva. Taking a look at some of your top headlines this morning. Today, Finland and Sweden officially handed in their applications to join the NATO alliance. The application will now be considered by all 30 member countries. The process to join NATO usually takes about a year, but NATO Secretary General said, quote, "We are determined to work through all issues and reach rapid conclusions." Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says he'll support interest rate increases until inflation comes down. Powell said additional half-point raises are possible as long as economic conditions remain steady. He said the Fed's goal is to get inflation closer to 2%.
Right now, of course, some things to do out and about. You can get out and make some connections with the Idaho Veterans Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, that's right. It sounds like a great event here. Yeah, they're hosting their after-hours networking event tonight. The idea is to bridge the gap between the military and the Idaho community. The event is free and open to everyone, especially military members, veterans, and their families. It starts at 5 o'clock this evening and runs through 6:30.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
You know, because it's so true. I mean, sometimes it's just, as an adult, I find just making friends, making connections, it's harder, right? You just get so into your day-to-day stuff, and sometimes it's like, well, what are you going to do? Meet someone at Costco to hang out with?
Yeah.
This can be it.
That'd be a good idea.
I mean, Matt, you're at Costco all the time.
Should be a section for that.
Exactly. I love that. Now, also coming up tomorrow, it's Sip Back and Relax. You heard that right.
I did.
During Unwind at 5 at Indian Creek Plaza in Caldwell. The weekly event highlights local breweries and wineries, and this week they're going to be featuring Wallace Brewing Company and Kindred Vineyards. As the name suggests, Unwind at 5. It kicks off at 5 and it runs through 7 o'clock.
It's a good name for that then. Well, never mind. It's just a good name.
It's just a good name.
Good marketing. Also tomorrow, come out to downtown Nampa for Third Thursday. There will be a car show, live music, food trucks, and plenty of activities. The event is free and runs from 6 to 8. There's also free parking available in the downtown parking garage. You had me at food trucks. Most places do.
In this nice weather, these are all wonderful things. You know, it's like 6 to 8. The sun is still up.
Right.
Go get some food, talk to some people.
Oh man,
It's we missed out on a lot of those kind of events over the past couple years, so it's better to, like, you know, start working your way back into the community, start talking to some people.
It's yeah. I mean, having these things again is such a good thing.
Yeah,
for
I've lived
all
up here.
of society.
Yeah, I've lived up here for almost a year and a half, and for a lot of that, I mean, I don't really leave my house all that much. So
You've
this
just
is
known pandemic pretty much.
Exactly.
Here.
I just knew Matt. That was about it.
Oh, so sorry. I apologize. All right, 6:42 is the time. Coming up, we all have our routine to keep our teeth clean, but learn why our seniors need to be more cautious around their mouth. That's in today's Wellness Wednesday.
And we'll talk more about what kind of activities you can do today. It's going to be nice and toasty. That's going to change starting tomorrow. Welcome back. I'm Geneva Zoltek here with your full forecast. Temperatures are going to be nice and toasty today, but we're not going to have as much sunshine. About 80% of the sky will be covered by the evening. That's ahead of a cold front that's heading our way starting tomorrow. That will drop our temperatures, but for now, we're on track with pretty much a nationwide trend. Look at that red. That means that it's hot. We've got even 100 degrees. Well, it makes sense over by the Mexico border, but record heat is what has been tracking in the south, and we're kind of getting the tail end of that up in our neck of the woods. 77 degrees is our high today in Boise, a little bit warmer than it was yesterday. 78 in Twin Falls. North of us in Salmon, Idaho, 69 degrees, so still pretty toasty throughout Idaho. And because it is such a nice day, we've got green lights for a bunch of outdoor activities: gardening, golfing, riding a bike, one of my favorite activities, and walking the dog, flying a kite. You know, I think by this afternoon we will have a little bit more wind picking up with ahead of that cold front, so we might have some good conditions for some flying a kite. Now tomorrow, keep in mind we do have a high wind watch, so if you have any outdoor furniture, might want to start getting prepped for that by tying some of it down, maybe keeping a good eye on any loose branches for today as a prep for tomorrow, because these areas in the Snake Basin are really going to be impacted by the cold front that's pushing wind our way. It's also going to be hitting southern Idaho on the west side as well, but definitely less significant. Temperatures today, though, really significantly in the 70s throughout our valleys, which is going to be really warm. But up north in the west central mountains, we do have a little bit higher of a chance of precipitation, around 30 to 40% chance later this afternoon, 56 degrees in McCall today. And that's because that precipitation is really impacting the temperature. 71 degrees in Fairfield. Again, our valleys are going to be feeling the heat today, so definitely get outdoors while you can, because tomorrow's not going to be quite as nice. 79 degrees in Twin Falls today. For the next 7 days, we'll continue to see this heat wave hitting us, bringing our temperatures up to the 60s and 70s. It's really just Thursday that those temperatures are significantly lower, where we'll have wind and a slight chance of precipitation. But if you take a look at the rest of our week, it's going to be pretty nice.
Well, May marks National Senior Citizens Month, and in today's Wellness Wednesday, we're explaining the importance of oral health as we age. Joining us this morning is Dr. Stephanie Dickey with the Idaho State Dental Association. Doctor, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
All right.
Glad to be here.
Okay, great. The term we're hearing in this topic is geriatric dentistry. So what exactly is that?
So it's a niche of general dentistry that focuses on the needs of older adults, and it's not necessarily related to being 55 and above, but we do see that as about that age, we can have more health conditions start to affect our oral health. So we address those needs.
Okay, gotcha. Now, fortunately, I mean, I'm not close to that age yet. However, I already know, at my mid-age, I guess you could say, I'm already starting to experience things like some gum problems and some other stuff. So what are some oral health problems that I guess actual geriatric patients commonly face?
Yeah, that's a good point. So as when we're younger, we may not have had, I hear this all the time, oh, I didn't have to go to the dentist very much. I never had cavities. But as we age, and our body changes and we have different health conditions start to occur, such as diabetes, hypertension, we get put on medications, and over time these really start to impact the tissues in the mouth and the teeth. And then for frail older adults, Alzheimer's and stroke and those types of things can really impact the ability to even do home care on their own.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So those are the things we see.
Okay, gotcha. So I would assume that, and again, there's an assumption that continuing regular dental appointments, that's going to be probably key priority. But tell us about that and any other suggestions that patients can take to maintain that good oral health as they get older.
So yeah, going to the dentist every 6 months works well for the younger crowd, but it's really important as we get older to maybe consider going maybe to the hygienist 3 to 4 times a year instead of just twice a year. Always letting the dentist know if you've had a major change to your health. Any new diagnoses, any medication changes, those are all things that the dental community really likes to know, so we can start getting ahead of things before it's too late.
Okay, gotcha. Good tips there. Now, where can people learn more if they're still looking for more information?
You can go to the Idaho Dental Association website for more information about oral health for older adults.
Okay, well, great information. This morning we've been joined by Dr. Stephanie Dickey with the Idaho State Dental Association. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.
In this morning's GMA First Look, Amber Heard cross-examined.
He knows he's lying.
Heard facing off against ex-husband Johnny Depp as she wrapped up her testimony in their bombshell defamation trial Tuesday. Depp's team questioning Heard's claim that she was sexually assaulted by Depp during their Australia trip in 2015.
And there is not a single medical record reflecting treatment for any of those injuries, is there, Ms. Heard?
I didn't seek treatment.
And playing an audio recording of Heard admitting to fighting with Depp, something she claimed was defensive.
I can't promise you I won't get physical again. God, I sometimes get so mad I lose it.
Surveillance video also played in court of actor James Franco visiting Heard the night before she filed for divorce. And we'll have more of the courtroom fireworks, plus a preview of which witnesses will take the stand next, coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Well, we have a lot of results from the primary election. Results are still rolling in from yesterday, but one of the first races to be called was the race for governor, with Governor Brad Little beating out his lieutenant governor that was running to replace him with about 55% of the vote. Now, with Janice McGeehan running for governor, that opens up her office as lieutenant governor, and two top lawmakers in Idaho are running to replace her. Current Speaker of the House, Scott Bedke, who is ahead with 52% of the vote, versus Idaho State Representative Priscilla Giddings with 42% of the vote. Now, another race we've been keeping an eye on is for Attorney General. This was really close overnight, but Raul Labrador has really pulled ahead over the incumbent Lawrence Wasden. Labrador is a former congressman. He has 51% of the vote now versus Lawrence Wasden's 39%. And Wasden was in this office for 20 years before this, but it looks like Labrador is who's going to be on the general election ballot in November. You can find more information about all of the races that were in the primary election yesterday on our website. You can scan that QR code. That'll get you right to the right place for all of the latest results.
The Out the Door forecast, brought to you by Homes of Idaho.
We have great weather in store for today. A little bit more cloud cover than yesterday, but we'll get up into the upper 70s by the time we've reached the hottest part of the day. About 80% of the sky will be covered in cloud cover, though, so definitely less sunshine. Again, 77 degrees is our high today. We'll drop in temperatures tomorrow because we do have a cool front heading our way. It's going to bring some wind, some precipitation to central Idaho, but most importantly, it's going to be significantly colder. After that, though, we will warm up into next weekend, seeing temperatures hit the 70s once again.
Now, the Idaho News 6 traffic report.
Well, our visibility again looks amazing today. You can see 10 miles ahead of you if you've got good vision. If you don't, maybe get some glasses. So we've got some great conditions right now for what we're seeing out there for some of our intersections. I-84 at 5 Mile, Maple Grove, and Orchard. Nothing seems to be building up as far as traffic goes this morning. I just checked our drive times, and that 8 is definitely not true. I believe that is supposed to be 36, so I'm sorry about that. 22 minutes from Nampa to downtown Boise, and a little bit longer if you're going the opposite. If you're going to Nampa, it's shorter. If you're going to Boise, it's longer.
Geneva, thanks so much. Okay, time now for GMI Wants to Know. Today we were asking you if you wanted anything to come back in fashion. You're hoping for cargo shorts, Matt, and I'm hoping for jellies. What does everyone else want?
This is kind of, I don't know. A lot of people aren't even talking about clothes. But we got here
back
we go.
in fashion. Oh, I mean, I guess things can come back in fashion that aren't like literally fashion, right?
Yeah, we have common sense.
Oh,
that's sure. Yeah,
you can't wear that. I mean, you could, I guess.
Yeah, some people wear that. Some. County says tie dye.
Oh yeah, I like tie dye.
And I still and always have rocked that great fashion.
Have you ever made a tie dye shirt by yourself?
Like by myself,
yeah,
like on board?
Yeah, like tie dyed your own stuff.
No, I have when I was a kid in some. I think like a camp or something.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
That was the last time. No says local tough man competition like back in the day. I know what he's talking about, and those are fun. Yeah, you don't really see a lot of those. I was actually here in Idaho invited to one of those up north where you
you?
Yeah, like throw logs and stuff, like big dudes. It's fun.
I would have paid to
Brandy
see
also
that.
says tie dye.
Sometimes you move the chairs around here.
I do.
Yeah.
Over my head. Yeah.
See you tomorrow.